From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme 3 podcast.
Welcome back, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme 3 podcast, a series for cinephiles. Each episode unpacks 3 movies connected by one theme, from shorts to trilogies, classics or hidden gems, the old and the new. We've got it all, and we're diving in deep, so please take this as your official spoiler alert for the films ahead. I'm your co-host, Bella F. Stratus, joined by my terrific co-host, Nicholas Ibarra. And today, a beloved returning guest is with us, writer, filmmaker, Jessica McLaughlin. Welcome back, Jess.
Thank you for having me. It is always a delight and a pleasure.
Hold on. McLaughlin?
Have I been saying your name wrong?
You have, but I love you.
Jess, why have you never told me?
No. I thought I was saying it wrong for all this time.
No.
Because you guys work together. I was like, I've been for years saying McLaughlin.
It's technically McLaughlin, like the gun, like
Glock. Oh, so both of us have
McLaughlin.
been saying it wrong.
That's fine.
It's not fine. It's not fine. Writer, filmmaker, Jessica McLaughlin. Everyone.
Why would you, Bella, read that as McLaughlin?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's spelled
I guess I don't know how to read.
McLaughlin. Anyways, we got there. Welcome back, Jess, where we treat you like the best. All our guests.
Well, you two are like some of my very favorite people. So you could call me like Jessica McButtface and be like, cool.
Love you. Oh my goodness, what a start. You know, I think this is the perfect start to this type of episode. As you guys know, if you've been following along the show, this episode will close out our favorites of 2025 series. So another amazing year of movies under our belt. Sonia Maru, our wonderful producer and LADFF director, kicked off the series with us with Sinners, One Battle After Another, and No Other Choice, 2 Best Pictures, and a snub. Last week, we were joined by Stephanie Weber, the incredible co-host of the Directora podcast, where we talked about If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Sorry Baby, and Train Dreams, some more Oscar nominees, and some of the best films directed by women last year. So if you love those 2 things, quick plug, over the next 2 months, Directora is diving into Oscar history, with the focus being women and queer stories. So definitely check out their show if you love movies, women, lesbians, and film history. Now, usually when Jess is on the show, you know, you're about to get a horror theme. And yet we've got a pretty miscellaneous trio of films today.
Eclectic.
Yes, eclectic, exactly.
It's because we're well-rounded.
Yeah.
I was talking with Nick earlier about how usually you can kind of find some through line with our 3 films, even in these like broader themes, like best of 2025. You know, we'll see if that's possible today. If we can get there, I'll be really proud of us. Anyways, without further ado, I feel like there's so much to talk about. I'm really excited about these 3 films. So, Nick, do you want to take us away with our first film of the day?
I do want to take us into our first film of the day. But before I want to take a quick tangent. That's not really a tangent, but it is. I just want to show some love to another independent movie theater that closed this past week. The Laemmle Claremont 5. The Laemmle Claremont 5, which was located in the heart of downtown Claremont. If you've never been to Claremont, it's a college town. It's about 45 minutes outside of LA, kind of affluent. There's a lot of like old retired former hippies that live there. Feels like a Pacific Northwest town. I did not grow up in Claremont. I grew up on the other side of the tracks. But when this theater opened, I was like just finishing up high school. And it was a very important theater in my life because it was a Laemmle. All the other Laemmles were in LA. So because this Laemmle opened close to me, I could get like foreign films and independent films, that all these movies that I would always see previewed on IFC or in reviews that I couldn't see previously unless I wanted to drive all the way to LA, which was like not always possible. So going to this indie theater is where I discovered filmmakers like Hirokazu Koreeda, Kelly Reichardt. I saw my first Sidney Lumet film there. I learned about the magic of going to movies by yourself at the Claremont 5. It was the first movie where I started going to movies by myself. And later it would become the first theater that I performed Rocky Horror at. And I'd perform there dozens and dozens of times. So long story short, aside from maybe the New Beverly, but it'd be a battle of 1 and 2 between like most important, most impactful theater of my life. And I feel incredibly sad about its closing, and also an immense amount of guilt that I hadn't been there in about a decade. So sad to see it go, and sad I didn't get to say goodbye. But grateful as hell for it, grateful for what it gave to me, and seeing and discussing small indie films that I would have never otherwise gotten a chance to see. Who knows? I may not have even like been in film if it was not. That's probably not true, but maybe it would have been a longer road without that theater. So seeing small indie films like my first pick that I'm going to discuss today, which is Eephus. See, I'd get around there eventually. Eephus is directed by and co-written by Carson Lund, and it premiered in the Directors Fortnight section of the Cannes Film Festival, however you want to say it, in 2024. And then it was released last year in March 2025. And the film takes place in the 1990s in a small town in Massachusetts. In fact, the entirety of this film takes place on one single baseball field, Soldiers Field, where they have for years held amateur baseball league games there. But on this day, the league will see its final game. They'll be tearing down this baseball field to build a school. So you've got this kooky cast of men coming onto the field to give it a send-off. There's 2 teams. There is the River Dogs, and then the other team is just called Alders Paint Baseball, because Alders Paint is the sponsor of this baseball team. So those are your 2 teams. The teams are made up of men aging in range from about 20 to most of them are in their 40s or 50s. Some of them are athletic. Most of them are not. Some of them can barely run. Some of them are thrilled to be there. A lot of them are grouchy and miserable, like myself. But all of them are characters, and all of them are pretty funny in their own way. And there's also Franny, who is a local man who just loves the sport of baseball and comes to watch, and he's got his scorecard and he keeps track of every play, and he is as engaged. Actually, he's probably more engaged than all of the players themselves. And aside from Franny, there aren't a lot of people that show up to this final game. You've got the wife and kids of one player. There's an old man who barely knows where he's at, but also loves baseball. And then there's a couple of teenage trolls that just pop in and out. But this game goes the distance. It's one of them long baseball games. It goes deep and long into the night. They start losing balls, players leave, umps leave, but the 2 teams got to find a way to finish this game. They want to give it a goodbye. Unlike with me and the Claremont 5, these men get to say goodbye to this field that they've spent so much time at. And over the course of this long game, we see the realization hitting them individually, often silently, that this will not only be the last time that they play on this field, but it may be the last time that they play the game of baseball for some of these men. It'll probably be the last time that they see the other men that they play with. It's baseball. It's slow. It's meditative. It's beautiful. And then, like many things in life, it just ends. Eephus. I'm afraid to ask. What did you guys think of this, ladies?
Oh, my word. When Bella, it was really funny because Bella had told me kind of like a different lineup for this episode, and Bella and I were like, yeah, we were like pumped. And then Bella was like, Nick made a change and told me.
I made a last minute change.
And Bella was like, yeah, Nick picked Eephus. And I had heard of it because I'm a Film Independent member and it is nominated at the Independent Spirit Awards. So it's on my list to watch for the voting. So it was like, oh, okay. It was like, I can get one done. But then I was just like, yeah, it is a baseball movie. I'm not a sports person. So I was, kind of hesitant going in. I started watching it with my partner. It was a rough day for movie watching because we had gone to a movie in the morning. My partner fell asleep and was snoring in the theater. And I had to keep waking them up. And every time Ashley would be like, "What, was I snoring? I'm sorry." We immediately got home. She was like, "Oh, hey, you want to watch Eephus?" And I was like, "Yeah." 10 minutes in,
the slowest movie, yeah.
Asleep again because she had just wrapped a vertical. Right. So dead to the world. But in the time that Ashley did see the movie, Ashley was like in physical pain because Ashley used to play softball all the time. And cough, gay, cough. And I was just like, she was just like, they don't know what they're doing. This is really painful. Like, oh my God. And then fell asleep. And then I could enjoy it because I don't know anything about sports.
Right.
And I ended up enjoying this movie, and I enjoyed it even more after reading some of the Letterboxd reviews and kind of seeing other people's experience of it because, I'm not a sporty person. I'm a lady in my 30s.
Right.
And so
you're not a crotchety old man who likes to scratch his nuts every Thursday.
It's like this film is for a different demographic, and that's totally cool. And it like so many people felt so seen and represented, and which is really beautiful. And my favorite part is like the ending, and we can talk about that. But yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised, and it was kind of really beautiful.
Yeah,
in the way that it was put together.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this so much more than I thought I would as well. I was telling Jonathan, I was like, yeah, I have to watch this baseball movie, but Nick knows ball, no pun intended. So it's got to be good. But yeah, coming out of it, I was like, wow, that was so great. And Jonathan was like, was it a lot of baseball? I was like, it was only baseball. Yeah. It was literally just baseball. And yet I really, really enjoyed it. And like Jess, I'm not a sports gal. Like I don't watch really any sports. I don't understand. I felt like those two stoner dudes on the like stoner teens on the sides. They're like, I've been watching this for an hour and I still don't understand baseball. And yet you're watching, just like them, like you're in it. And I loved the atmosphere of it. And I think it perfectly captured just like that type of day at the park. I love movies that, take place all in the span of one day. And this is kind of a perfect one. Like the passage of time is such an experience in this film. And I love that they chose to set it during fall rather than summer. Because I feel like we get so many like summer baseball movies where it's like sweaty and like hot. But it's like the cool, crisp air of fall, which is my favorite season. And then like, as it gets later or darker and throughout the day, you get to see their breath. Like you get to see and feel the temperature.
You got the trees changing colors in the background. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And like you said, Nick, so meditative. It just automatically makes you feel good watching it.
Yeah, it's weird because it is, as you mentioned, it is a baseball movie. It is all baseball. Pretty much the whole film is just this single game. But knowing baseball and liking baseball is also less of a baseball movie than most other movies. Like knowing the rules, knowing what the game's about doesn't really help you in this instance because it's not really important to like what's happening. What's really happening, you don't really know until the end. The film's kind of like a magic trick in that way, but it's just about like these moments and being an observer to something that is fleeting, which baseball is kind of like a fleeting sport. That's why it's kind of like apt that they chose baseball as this thing, because it is like something that is like going away with time. It is no longer America's pastime. But they describe, the title of the film is Eephus, which is a type of pitch, which one of the characters describes kind of beautifully. For our listeners who don't know, Eephus pitch is like a very slow, high arching pitch that just looks weird. It's like a slow, shitty curveball that it just really throws the hitter off their guard. And by the time it hits the plate, you're just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it was coming at me so slow, and now like I'm struck out. What is happening here? And that's kind of what this film does. It's very slow. It's very odd. You don't really know what you're watching as it's coming at you. But then once it hits the plate, you're like, wait a second, why does my heart hurt? This is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
They got one of the pitchers from the Red Sox back in the day from the 70s, Bill Lee, who is like, he didn't invent the Eephus pitch, but he is a pitcher who utilized it, and one of the most famous pitchers who utilized it, who played for the Red Sox. He is in this film. He kind of just appears magically out of the woods and comes in and pitches one inning and then disappears back into the woods. So it's got a little mystique, like baseball magic, field of dreams energy, but in a way more like grounded. I keep saying like grumpy, but these guys are grumpy, you know? Like,
they are grumpy.
They are, but in like the best way, where like I had a conversation one time that was talking about, I forget what they were talking about, but like this archetype of like the grump and why we like these characters so much. And when I was having the conversation with this person, I brought up Gene Smart's character in Hacks, where it's like that really like they say what you want to be able to say. Like they defy the rules of polite society by just being themselves.
Right.
And they don't care about the consequence. So that's like, you have all of these characters who are just like authentic to themselves and not censoring themselves and are just like, you know, in this safe space.
Right. Right. They're in their safe space.
Yes.
They're doing their thing. They're doing what they do, and not well. Again, that's the other thing that I think is like likable and relatable to it, is like these guys are really fucking bad at baseball. This is the worst baseball game you've ever seen in your life. And but they're just like, but they're having fun, you know, in their own way. And I think that's what's kind of like unique and special about this film.
And there's a lot of discourse these days, like on social media, about like the courage and the bravery to be bad at something, like before you get good, or also just to be bad because you like it. Like you don't have to be good at something. Like that's not a prerequisite. Like you can do something and be bad and still enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, capitalism wants you to be perfect and it commodify it. But no, like these people are just, they love baseball. And they're doing what they love and hanging out with their friends.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some of the bad baseball stuff is like, that's what makes it really funny too, because like they will like take off for a run because, you know, like you have this vision of what baseball players do in their minds, and they start to do that, and these guys do too. There's like, I'm stealing second, and they'll take off, and then they just eat shit immediately. You're just like, oh my God, it just fucking fell on your face. Which, if you've ever played sports with your friends and you see your friends do that, oh my God, it's the best thing in the world. I had one of my best friends, Steve. We were in high school. We were playing football, and at this point, Steve was like not the most athletic kid in the tool shed. I love you, Steve. I'm about to give the best man speech at his wedding, but But our friend went back for a pass and threw this like ball way up in the air. And Steve made this leaping grab. I mean, it was a Randy Moss. He jumped up 5-7 feet in the air to pull this ball down off out of midair. It was unbelievable. It was like one of those things you see in slow motion. It's like, ah, damn, what a catch. And he comes down into just a mud pit. And slips and falls in the mud, and his whole body's covered in mud. And we laughed at that dude for no joke a decade. We have not stopped laughing at that man for that. Like, it's one of the great moments of my life. No joke. Was watching my friend eat that shit.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's what this movie's about.
And then, but they take it to like a different level as well, where like some of them laugh, but some of them are also so serious because it's the last game. So it's like the last time, like it's almost like you want to laugh that hard, but also cry that hard because you're just like, that's the last time I'll see my friend eat shit like that.
Right. There's one scene where this one player, he's the one player who has family come and watch the games. His wife and his 2 kids come and it's getting cold out, so they want to go home, you know. They're like, hey, we're going to go home, you know. We'll get you dinner. He's like, come on, I'm about to hit. This is going to be my last at bat. And the poor dude strikes out. And the kids are like, all right, bye, Dad. We love you. And he's just like, you see this look on his face. It's like, fuck, that's going to be the last time my kids ever watch me bat. And they just watched me strike out. And he's got this like, it's a great performance. It's like a really sad look on his face. But then one of the other players reminds him, hey, man, you're the only player who's got family who show up. And he like gives this just like tiny, tiny little smirk. And in just that one moment, in that like 2 minutes, you get the full range of emotions. You get like hope, you get the pit of despair, you feel sympathy for this guy, and then you feel, you know, like happy for like the love that he has in his life.
Yeah.
You know, that might have been the last time the kid saw the old man come to the plate.
They're so young, they won't even remember this.
They're 10 and 12.
Then they'll probably love that you struck out. It's funny.
Not to me.
Hey, boss, how come you're the only one that has family that come here?
I mean, it just really masterfully intricates all these like little emotions that are, you can really only experience from like life lived, you know, like if you ever are lucky enough to like have something like this that you do in life and then are sad to see a place like that go, like this movie will really work for you.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I mentioned earlier was like the ending was my favorite. That's, I mean, because that's like when a lot of stuff is like really comes together and the themes really hit home and all that stuff. But I also just loved they encapsulated that feeling of like, you know, I don't know about today's youths, but like
Bella does.
back in the Bella can tell me if this is the case, but like back in the day when you would be like in the summer or fall, whenever, but you were just hanging out with your friends and you were playing outside and it was so dark and you had to go home, but you were like looking for excuses to, or like ways to stay hanging out with your friends. I mean, this happened recently when I was home for the holidays and I was with some of my best friends in Atlanta and we had a bonfire and it was dark and we couldn't see anything. But we wanted to keep burning things because we wanted to keep hanging out. And so we were literally like, had the flashlights on our phones, like looking around the yard just for anything to burn.
Right.
And we were just like looking for, and it was because we wanted to, you know, we love each other and we wanted to keep hanging out. And also burning things is fun. But like, so it's that palpable feeling of like these men aren't saying it. They're not talking about like, oh, I'm sad, I don't want it to be over, but they're all doing things to extend this for as long as possible. They're all like, you know, turning on their lights so they have light to play the game. And like, yeah, they're just, you know, they want to stay in each other's presence. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. Even actually, I don't want to say that because I'm going to give something away that I don't want to give away. Which actually I didn't even really think about until the second time I watched it. But you know how like that
Now I want to know.
that there's one player that the coach of the blue team, I'm not sure which it is, but he's like, that team could have ran away with the game, and he keeps holding his runner at third so he doesn't score. And everybody's like, what the fuck, man? He could have scored like 3 times already. But he's like trying to extend the game because he wants it to like, he wants it to go as long. He wants it to be a good game, and he wants it to go as long as it can. But the other thing that's like kind of poetic about that ending, Jess, that you mentioned is it ends with a walk. Like the winning run, they walk them in. In so many baseball movies, you know, or sports movies in general, or just movies in general, you expect this like epic, dramatic climax where it's like, oh, home run, grand slam, or guy gets the girl, or they're all going to go to the bar together and be like, you know what, let's start the new league in this place, you know. You don't get that here. You get the runner walks in. It's a very anticlimactic ending. The game just ends and they shake hands. And like you said, they kind of putter around for a little bit, sadly in the dark, picking up trash, looking around, nodding at each other. And it's a special, like little magic trick of a movie. One that just kind of like, I watched this in the theaters when it came out, and it was one of those like, this looks like something I would like, you know? And went to see it, and I was like, wow, I really, really fucking loved that. And I just have like thought about it like about 10 times since March when I saw it. And when we were picking the favorites of the year, I was like, you know what? I think this is the one that I'm going to like probably come back to a lot. So, yeah, Eephus is good.
It's good. No, I enjoyed it, and I feel like I am a better cinephile for having seen it.
Love that.
Good.
Yeah, I also, final thought it was so fun and cool, for lack of better words, to have, there's like this motif of the radio going constantly.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. I loved the radio.
The radio, and the voice is Frederick Wiseman, iconic documentarian. And I remember like in college, I took a documentary class and we watched his movie High School, which is from like 1968, which was super cool to just see. Like, it's just kind of like a day in the life of a high school kid in the 60s. And I love that, like, this movie also kind of feels like a Frederick Wiseman documentary. Like, you're just, except it's fiction, obviously, but it doesn't really feel like that. Like, everyone is so lived in, the place is so real. And I think that's just like another reason why this movie is so special.
It like mixes those documentary elements with also kind of like what Nick was saying earlier, kind of like this magical surrealism kind of thing, where it's like, you're like, wait, what's this tone shift at this moment? Like, it threads so many things together, like in a really beautiful way, and you buy it all. Like, you're not, it doesn't feel forced. It just feels right.
Right.
Which is a feat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to pull off. Eephus, it's available on demand, I think, is the only place you can check it out. It's also available on Blu-ray and DVD if you don't want to be demanding, if you don't want to give your money to the likes of Amazon and Google. Visit your local video stores or give money to the filmmakers. Check out their Blu-ray, which my friend Ryan Layson told me he just bought. So All right, Jess. Second picture, which I also want to say, here's one connection. Both Eephus and your pick, Jess, were both nominated for the Golden Camera Award at the Cannes Film Festival in 2024.
Oh, wow.
So there's a connection.
It all links together. Okay. So Alexis Langlois, sorry if I didn't say the last name correctly. I did my best. Debut feature, Queens of Drama, premiered at Cannes Critics Week in 2024, but screened for the viewing public in 2025. A true original that still gives its homages their flowers, this film takes an epic love story stretching 50 years and gives it a Y2K fairy tale treatment, complete with a YouTuber narrator and killer original music. It's a musical, it's brightly colored and glittery, it's queer, and above all, it's unapologetic and proud of it all. It's Queens of Drama. And I love Queens of Drama so much. Probably more than it's healthy. Like, it's when I saw it, I went with my friends and my partner, and we were talking about it after, and they were like, Jess, what did you think? And I was just like, I feel like the Grinch. I feel like my heart grew 3 sizes. And people were just like, okay. And I have since, like, every time it's screened in Los Angeles, I've been like, everyone, let's go. We all have to go to the theater. We all have to see it. And I'm really obnoxious about it. The only other film this year that I have done that kind of treatment with is Annapurna Saram's Fuck Toys. So between these two, these were kind of like my obsessions of the year. But I would love to hear, Bella, I know, has seen it because I tracked her to the theater.
I was excited to go. But yeah, I am dying to hear Nick's thoughts on this.
I'm so excited to hear what Nick thought.
Well, I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed a lot of elements about this film. Like these two young, passionate artists falling in love with each other and being so angsty and full of piss and vinegar that they don't know whether they want to fight or fuck. It's like, all right, I love that. I really enjoyed like all of the commentary on fame and artistry, and both of the characters that we have here just kind of go down their own very different paths in the industry. They're very different at the start of the film in itself. But, you get this story of an industry tampering artists' artwork. And it wasn't until they are able to see through that they get reunited. And once they realize they got to do the art for themselves, that's where they really find their artistic voice and their love for each other, and are able to make the love work instead of it being totally toxic. So I think all that's beautiful. I thought there were a lot of wonderful moments in this film. That being said, that phrase "no notes." I have a new phrase. It's called notes.
Wow.
I have notes, but I want to hear what you think first, Bella.
No, let's skip to the notes. No, really quickly, I'll just say, yeah, I was telling Jess, I feel like I almost have a love-hate relationship with this movie because I love it so much. But what I love so much is the love story. And when that's taken away at the half point of the film, it's an excruciating experience. I'm still it's because you just love it. I'm so invested in this relationship. And then we see them just disappear into these shells of themselves. And it's so sad and painful to watch. And I have a complicated relationship with this movie.
It's very Romeo and Juliet in that way.
It is,
once
yes.
the love story goes away, you want it back so desperately.
Exactly. So I think stylistically, this movie is everything that I love and want to consume. I love the Y2K aesthetic. but like the French pop lens as well is really fun to see. And kind of just like fun to think about like French pop in 2005 as well, because I feel like pop stars were such like American pop stars were so big for us that it's interesting to like also kind of get a taste of like the influence of like Britney Spears with like French queer pop stars and but like closeted and all that. There's just so many like subtle undertones and themes going on here that I think it makes it really fun to rewatch this film and come back to, because that first watch you're just kind of trying to like digest everything.
Right. Bella, Jess, what did you love about it? What was your favorite?
Well, I did tell
element?
Bella the other day that my relationship with the movie has become healthier as I've watched it more times, where
Right.
like now when I watch it, I just like yell at the screen, like, go to therapy, like
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Right.
But like, because when I first saw it, I was just like, I think since it was so original and combined so many things that I love, and like it was just this confluence of just like so many awesome things, I was just kind of like, I couldn't wrap my head around it all. And because it throws a lot at you.
Yes.
It's a lot to take in. And so I just was a little bit more in awe of it. And now watching it multiple times, because I bought the Blu-ray, so I've seen it more times than, not. And I've started looking at like how they constructed it and what they did. And I do think that it's like a really impressive debut feature effort, especially where a lot of times in my initial viewings, I wasn't thinking about like how they made it. And when you do start looking and interrogating, like, how did they shoot this? Like most of it is on a soundstage.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
It's like a lot of it, you forget that you're like like the world they created was very effective, and like how they moved through time lapses of like, years going by, like they did a lot of stuff really, really effectively. Some stuff not as effectively, but it's just so much fun. And I do love the music. I think the music is great. I also think that the main love anthem of Fisting to the Heart, it's every time the Fisting to the Heart scene comes on, I cry. Like I can't control it. Something inside me, I like cry because I love that sequence so much.
Yeah.
But I'm also genuinely laughing hysterically because the lyrics are insane.
Right.
Like it's so funny, but it's also so emotional. It's just like, I don't know. And also the chemistry between the two leads, they feel like a real lived-in couple. Like they did a really great job. I'm ready for the notes though.
Yeah. This is, you heard no notes. This is notes.
Exclamation point.
No, just notes, period.
Oh, just notes, period.
Notes, semicolon.
Okay.
Again, I liked the movie. Okay, here's the thing. When you have a movie that is a musical or music-based film, I have an issue with lip syncing all stop in music-based films, definitely. And this one, it's like, it's clear. I know how hard it is to make a movie. It's clear these guys are working on a budget. And as you mentioned, Jess, they did a lot with what is clearly a very small budget. They made like a 50-year epic on a small budget.
Right.
So I'll forgive some of this stuff, but the lip syncing in this film is incessant, and it is always off. When I go to a drag show, which is, frequently enough, and the lip syncing is off, there's a discussion. All right. It's like, you're going to ask me for a $20 tip and you ain't even going to lip sync the goddamn song? Bitch, you ain't singing. Get the fucking lip sync down. I just finished a RuPaul Drag Race job, so the wounds are still fresh. I'm sorry. Okay, but with this film, early in the movie, Mimi goes to see Billy perform at the punk show. And this is really our kind of like our big introduction to Billy as an artist and as a, that's their name, right? Billy, I got that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm obsessed with the way that Mimi says it. It's like,
B, yeah.
Sorry.
So they go. We're introduced to this character, and this is like her introduction as an artist, and like everything. And it's like it's supposed to be a punk show, and this is supposed to be punk, and she's just lip syncing up there the whole time, and it's like punk, lip syncing punk, and it's not good lip syncing. I mean,
and I will say it also kind of puts another cast on this because Gio Ventura, the actor that plays Billy, like that's their like they did the songs, they recorded the songs, so
right,
yeah.
So it just like, but it made me think like she didn't. So and it's like if it was a pop up there star, like maybe I would have given it a little more grace. But if you are as a fan of punk and as a big fan of modern female queer punk, which there are so many amazing bands falling into those categories right now. I watched this scene and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't believe it. I cannot buy what you are selling me right now. So that was like a 2-star reduction right there off the bat. Oof. And then my other note is just the narrator. Thematic. Okay.
What
here's
about
the thing.
it?
Thematically, I like what it was going for. Like extreme fanatics, trying to pigeonhole the artists that they love into doing only what they want. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think that's quite profound on paper. But they have put that idea into the embodiment of, if our listeners remember the Leave Britney Alone YouTube personality, I suppose. This character is a parody of that person, essentially. And I don't know. I think I think a crying baby on an airplane would have made for a less annoying narrator.
Oh, Stevie Shady is great.
No,
Stevie grows on you.
They have a wonderful arc. I will say that.
You do.
But the performance is there's a phrase in wrestling that's called "go away heat." Go away heat is like if you're a heel in wrestling, the whole purpose is for you don't want the audience to like you. You want them to boo you. What you don't want is for the audience to want you to just go away. It's called channel changing go away heat. And Stevie had a little bit of go away heat for me.
I kind of agree with you, Nick. Sorry, Jess. But I will say I also agree with Jess that like coming back to it, I think Stevie grows on you with rewatches, not necessarily so much with like throughout the first time you watch this, because Stevie's presence is like grating. Like you're just like,
I would agree with that.
Like, and that's I think that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Like,
by design.
Very intense. Yeah. It's like
he's
we all
an
know
antagonist. Like he shows up and like there's like pivotal points of he like basically is one of the main factors of Mimi having a breakdown, leading to like her Britney head shave moment.
Totally.
Yep.
So like, he's not like a great guy.
Yeah.
No. And he comes back a lot throughout the film. So I get that of like, I think there are certain moments where like Stevie's presence could take you out of the enjoyment because you're like so into a moment with these two amazing characters, and then you're like, oh, fuck, we're back to Stevie. But I also agree with you, Jess. Coming back to it, I was just like, wow, this is a crazy fucking character.
And like the dedication.
Balls to the wall performance. Yeah. Like they didn't care. They don't care how you feel about them, Nick. Yeah. Okay.
Clearly. And more power to them. Also, I just want to say, like, for those listening at home and to Jess, like, listen to me when I tell you. If you can't tell, I'm grouchy. Like, fuck. Like, I had a rough week at the gig. The world is all jacked up. I could watch this movie again next week and probably love it. I am mad at certain people in power, and I am taking it out on fucking punk lip syncing. Okay.
No, and I get it. Like, you know, there are things that it is definitely like a debut feature.
Yeah.
I think Alexi handled it very well. It was a lot to take on. Like you were saying, it's a 50-year epic. They did not have that much money. And they had to do like all original music.
Yeah.
And like,
which is impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, and they had like guest stars of Hodorowski as Mimi's best friend, and they had Asia Argento, and like so they were trying to do a lot, and I think they did most of it very well. I definitely agree with Nick what you were saying about like queer punks. Like there's so many amazing queer punk artists right now, and also a lot of like queer punk activists, and you know, I align myself in the queer punk arena. But I will say, like, one thing that was really affirming for me was seeing a semi-punk, because it was not a real punk. They were definitely like maybe pop punk. Yeah. Because you know, lots of pink.
Which makes sense, because it's like if it's the late 90s, early 2000s, that's what the punk was of that time. It was pop punk, you know. Like
Billy's Friend is more like goth punk. Like so Kalthum, who's also way too good for Billy. Right. Like Kalthum deserves so much better. Every time I watch it, I just like yell at the screen and I'm like, Billy's a shit friend. Yeah. Leave them. Right. But like, it was really great for me to see. One, I just loved like the centering of this like lesbian relationship, this queer relationship, but also having a queer punk as a unabashed like object of desire, and like having those two like pumped up chicks and the whatever Suzuki song like were like so like confidently sexual. Yeah. And like this person was this like just like oozing sexuality and was by Mimi like completely transfixed was really great and affirming, because I was just like, this is amazing. I haven't seen something like this, at least, you know, currently.
I will say I was almost out for the reasons that I explained earlier. And then at the end of the performance, when she pulled out the butt plug of herself, I was like, all right, I'm back in.
The nice little sound effect.
Yeah.
I know. And I love the skewering of like traditional romantic tropes where they're like, oh, I give you a rose because I love you. And it's the rose butt plug. Or like, I give you a ring as a sign of my commitment. And it's like a heart-shaped nipple ring.
Right. Totally.
Amazing.
Like they do a lot of like that kind of stuff. I did, as I was watching it this time, I wanted to make a recommendation for people that like heated rivalry is so huge right now. Mm-hmm. And I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's oversaturation at this point. But anyway, it's a fun watch. But if you like heated rivalry, this is basically like lesbian heated rivalry for artsy people.
Nice.
Watch this and support this as well. Because we have a lot of like male-centric queer stories that get just access that like lesbian and non-binary queer stories don't. Yeah. We might get like one movie or one season of TV and it gets canceled, like, you know, like A League of Their Own. Like that was a beautiful TV show and it just got like canned. So yeah, I'm stepping off my soapbox.
No, you should be on your soapbox. Especially when cis Nick talks about fucking bullshit.
Good points. Like, you know, it's I see them. I definitely do. But also like as a queer person watching this, and also when I've showed it to other queer people, we just become rabid. Yeah. We just
rabid. I love it.
Because we're just like obsessed with the mess. And also it's like we have so many straight stories like this.
Totally.
That like seeing queer people going through this kind of stuff I mean, they are like when they get together, they're the worst people you know.
Mm.
You would not want to be out with them. Like you see them with their friends and they're like basically almost having sex on the table. And you're just like, I would not put up with this.
Right.
But you also love how much they love each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so you're just like, yeah,
exactly.
okay, I like this. And they're very toxic. They're not great people.
But even not great people deserve love sometimes.
And they deserve each other.
And we deserve each other.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
at that point, that's like what Bella was saying the other day. Was just like at that point, you're just kind of like, you kind of deserve each other because I don't think you deserve anybody else.
Yeah.
I did think the ending was really beautiful, like going into kind of that other world that they've created where they're not, judged by critics and pop charts and this and that and media and fanatics and the tabloids, and they just are able to be queer and make art the way that they want to make art and have their own little slice of heaven. I thought that was really a powerful ending and ultimately won me over the movie. I was like, all right. Patouche.
Thank you. I showed one of my coworkers this film and he sings Patouche to me all the time.
It's been in my head since I watched it, and it will never leave.
Yeah.
It is a banger. It is a absolute ripper.
Je serai ton ascenseur émotionnel. Mais pour l'instant, pas touche. Si tu veux ma bouche, prends d'abord mon cœur. On reste sur la touche. Pas touche. Je ne suis pas ta chose. Si tu veux ma bouche, tu chéris mon cœur.
I just like in the fisting to the heart sequence, I have to shout out the like yonic geode in the wall that separates. Oh,
So good.
Yeah.
I just love a sparkly vagina-esque hole in the wall that separates and people come together. I didn't know I needed it until I saw it in this movie and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do that.
Any final thoughts on Queens of Drama that you can't save for the novel that you write about this movie, Jess?
I would just say the reason why I even heard about this film was because of Altered Innocence. They're one of my favorite distributors. They are literally just like one person who is here in LA.
Wow.
And I've met him and he's absolutely fantastic. And it's literally just centering queer stories. It's a two-pronged approach of like new releases and also going and doing restorations and like repertory, going back in the archives and re-releasing stuff that has been lost. So that arm of Altered Innocence is called Anus Films.
That's great.
Sorry. It's so good. Instead of Janice, it's Anus.
Right.
It's just like a butt. It's
Oh,
so
I
good.
get it. I get it. That is,
But, like,
that's clever.
It's so clever. And so not only is he doing really important work, but he's also like giving us wonderful stories. Another film that we talked about on Gimme 3 a while back was Knife and Heart.
Oh, yeah.
That's also released by Altered Innocence. The People's Joker was released by Altered Innocence. So follow Altered Innocence. They're doing really important work and sharing really important films, and I just like followed them on Instagram, and then I found out about this film and I went and saw it at Vidiots, and
Nice.
I have been obsessed ever since. So watch Altered Innocence.
Yeah, Knife and Heart. That was a fucking banger too.
So good.
All right. Queens of Drama. It's available to stream on Canopy, right?
Yep.
So if you have a library subscription, you could check it out on Canopy. And if you see it pop up in a repertory screening anywhere, there's a great chance you're going to see Jess.
I will most likely be there and probably laughing inappropriately just at everything.
Yeah.
But I will not apologize, just like this film does not apologize.
Batouche. That, my friends, is going to take us to a break. During that break, you're going to hear from LADFF director, Gimme 3 producer, and my wife, Sonia Maru, for a segment that we call Sonia's Movie Minute. So stick around for that and much more right here on the Gimme 3 podcast.
Hello, I'm Sonia, and this is my Movie Minute. Today, I want to urge you all to watch Gus Van Sant's latest film, Dead Man's Wire. It's an indie that'll be competing for an audience against the biggest films of the year, but I assure you it's worth seeking out, even if you have to drive across town. It'll be playing in 35mm in LA and New York in December and opening wider in January. I was thinking of what I wanted to say about the film, but then I came across this Letterboxd review, so I'm going to read it to you instead. An incredibly gripping film. The script wastes zero time getting into the thick of it, and not once does it take its foot off the gas pedal. Bill Skarsgård is hypnotic. Coleman Domingo is tremendous. Cary Elwes disappears into his role, and Al Pacino is Al Pacino. Loved this. See it on the big screen. That Letterboxd was written by this guy I know, Nick Ibarra. He's very smart, and I totally agree with him. So after you see Wicked, go see Dead Man's Wire.
All right, everybody ready to get fucking depressed?
Yeah, sorry. All right, yeah, we're going dark into the realm of horror with the second feature from Danny and Michael Philippou, the Philippou brothers. They first gave us Talk to Me, which I was immediately a fan of, and so I knew I would be seated in the theater for whatever they did next. And man, did they deliver. Introducing Bring Her Back, a new addition to the grief/motherhood horror subgenre, one of my favorites. The film follows siblings Andy and Piper, who are placed into foster care after their father's sudden death. Andy, is a caring and fiercely protective 17-year-old boy, and is determined to keep his younger sister Piper, who's partially blind, safe when they are taken in by Laura, a grieving foster mother whose eclectic style and maternal warmth really seems to be hiding something much darker. Laura's played by the incredible Sally Hawkins as well, just to set the stage. And I need to look up the two kids' names because they are newcomers, but they are incredible.
Sora Wong, Billy Barrett, and Jonah Wren Phillips are the three young actors in the film.
Thank you so much. Yes, amazing performances. So as we get going, Laura pretty much immediately bonds with Piper, and Andy is pretty quickly pushed aside. Things start to get even creepier after meeting her surprise son, Ollie, who doesn't speak and has this empty, dark look in his eyes. So what begins as kind of this quiet unease really escalates into something far more dangerous as Laura's unresolved grief drives her toward this evil supernatural plan to bring back her recently deceased daughter, and apparently Piper is the key. It is visceral, unsettling, totally twisted and disturbing, but it also, it has all the horror characteristics that the Philippou brothers are known for, and yet beneath all the gore and the terror, I think there is kind of a raw tenderness and like aching desperation and deep humanity to the film that I think Sally Hawkins truly brings as well, as it explores, motherhood, trauma, sibling bonds, and grief in a surprisingly powerful way. So yeah, what did you guys think of Bring Her Back? I'm sorry, this is such a downer film to close out the episode, but it's one that just really stuck with me. I think the theater experience of this film is incredible because the Philippou brothers' sound designs obviously amplified in the theater, and this movie goes balls to the wall with that in so many ways. So it's a physical and emotional experience watching this movie, which is kind of all you can ask for when it comes to horror specifically. So I obviously loved it, and yeah, saw it when it first came out early last year, and like Nick with Eephus, just like could not stop thinking about it. And this was actually the first time I came back to it because I needed the time to recover. But yeah, Nick, I know, Jess, you you saw this movie because we talked about it and loved it. But had you seen this movie before, Nick? I can't remember.
No, this was the first watch for me.
Ooh, yay, exciting. I was hoping.
And all I gotta say is, fuck you, Bella. I'm just kidding.
That is the exact response I expected.
No, I mean, like, listen, this is really a masterful direction and tension building and just horror creation. I actually can't imagine watching this in a theater, because there was several times in the film where I had to like pause it and like walk around my house and like walk away from it for a little bit, because it was like too intense.
Yeah.
This movie will undoubtedly show up during the American Cinematheque's Bleak Week Film Festival some year down the line. Yeah, Sally Hawkins, incredible. All the young actors we mentioned, Sora Wong, Billy Barrett, Jonah Wren Phillips. I especially want to talk about Jonah's performance, who he plays Ollie, who is so menacing and hypnotic and mysterious, but also like sympathetic. You can like see something in that character that's just like, you're trapped, or this is not your fault. But that kid is able to pull all of that off with an almost entirely silent performance. And so I'm not that's incredible direction, and that's incredible work from that kid. And it is like, a lot of people are comparing his performance to Linda Blair's performance in The Exorcist, because they were both so young and they're both so like unnerving and memorable. And it's just like, how did you do that with a kid? And also, why would you do that to a kid? Like,
yeah.
But they have that kind of same whoa, yikes feeling that I just can't really even describe, but it's pretty gnarly. Yeah, it's an incredibly made film that I hope to never see again in my life.
That's exactly what Jonathan said when we walked out of the theater. he turns to me and sees that I'm bawling while the credits are rolling, and he's like, "You're so sick. You're so fucked up in the head." So he did not rewatch with me, sadly. I had to do that adventure all over again alone.
Yeah.
I have a very supportive partner who is also weird and twisted like I am. I went and saw this for my anniversary.
Yay. Love.
So Ashley and I, for like our 1-year anniversary, it was last June, when a lot of I believe it was like when all of the ICE stuff really started kicking off in LA. And so we felt a lot of things, and we felt really like hopeless, and we didn't really want to do anything. And so we were just like, well, we have our AMC stubs, A-list. We can go to the movies. And so we just like went to double features, like back to back. So we saw like 4 movies that weekend. And this was the second day. We started with Bring Her Back, like in the morning. And I was really excited to see it. I personally was not a huge fan of Talk to Me. I think for me, it felt more like a drama, like a grief drama. I didn't think they really hit the horror that hard. I know other people will definitely disagree with me, and that's totally fine. I liked it. It wasn't, but I walked out just being like, so I went in with like mild expectations. And so we went in, and after seeing it in the theater, I felt like wrung out like a towel. Like just like everything was taken out of me. And this psycho that I love was just like, oh my God, can we go see it again? And I was like, Ashley, no, we cannot go see it again. And Ashley just like looked at me straight in the eyes. Like, we're walking out of the theater, and Ashley's just like, I just haven't felt things. Movies haven't made me feel things in so long, and I just want to feel things again. And can we just go see it? And I'm like, no, we're going to go see The Life of Chuck. It was programmed for this for a reason.
Right. You need a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
And we were like at lunch the whole time. I don't know if I want to go see The Life of Chuck. I think I want to see Bring Her Back Again. No, you
Crazy.
can go by yourself then.
Yeah.
Right.
You can. I don't want to go by myself. Okay. So yes,
I love that you guys went to see that on your anniversary. That is very Mimi and Billy of you guys.
It is.
Oh, I wish we were that cool, but not that toxic. We're cool in our own ways. But yeah, no, it was the theater experience is insane. I showed it to one of my really good friends once I bought the Blu-ray, and we watched it at her apartment, and I remember just thinking like this does not hit nearly as hard as in the theater. Also, I knew what was coming, so that was part of it too. But I was just like sitting there the whole time being like, I wish that I could show her this in the theater.
Yeah.
Because it would just be completely different. Because the sound design is insane. And body horror doesn't usually get to me. But the body horror in this movie, maybe because it's teeth stuff, but like it got to me in like a whole different way paired with the sound design. It's just like it gets under your skin, and it's like what Nick was saying, it's masterful. Like I watched this movie and I just like it sets a newer, higher bar of just like I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that like should be the standard.
Yeah.
There's one scene that I want to talk about because it just sets up and builds the tension and the horror. So it's just really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The brother character, Andy, has let Ollie out of his room, which he's been locked in. And he's like, "Are you hungry, buddy?" And this kid hasn't eaten.
He's hungry.
And he's hungry. And so they go to the kitchen, and Andy is cutting up fruit for Ollie.
Oh,
and Andy just pulls the knife out to cut the fruit. And when you pull a knife out, you get this sense of dread. You're just like, uh-oh, that's a knife. And then he cuts the fruit, and he offers a piece of fruit to him with it still on the knife. And you go, no, don't why? No, don't do that. Who does that with fruit?
Bad idea.
And Ollie takes the knife, and you're like, uh-oh, something bad's gonna happen. And this tension is building in your body, and you want to kill yourself. And and you're like, holy shit. And Andy, this is where it really gets masterful. Andy turns his back on Ollie, and the camera leaves with Andy as he like goes to get something else from the drawer. You start to hear something happening. And when we go back to what's happening, I'm not going to say what happens because it's so upsetting. And I know we have listeners who are driving right now, and I don't want to be responsible for any car accidents, but it is so visceral and so fucked up that my entire body like went catatonic, and I like extended all of my arms and legs and limbs, and my fingers spread apart wide open, my toes spread apart wide open, and I like became paralyzed with just how unbelievably fucked up what I was watching was. And yikes, they did a good job on that scene.
They did.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's unforgettable.
I think also like it is scene by scene, like this masterful suspense building. But every time I watch it, I am just like in awe of the screenwriting because it is like a step by step by step violation of boundaries. And this, like, you know, like when you meet Sally Hawkins's character, you're like, she's kind of kooky. She's a little weird. She's doing some weird stuff. Why'd she hit her son on the forehead with a ruler? What? Crazy. She's weird. And then she just starts doing these things like, you know, looking at a phone without permission, taking like the kids to the funeral and like pushing boundaries in that respect, like offering alcohol to underage children, like these things that are just like incrementally building where like you wouldn't have believed where you get to otherwise. Like they had to do that for her character, where because otherwise you can't just like jump in with what's actually going on.
Right.
You can't just be like,
Yes.
and this is what's happening. Look at your
Right.
crazy new home. Like that, it would never have like we would have been like, yeah, right.
Right.
But the way that they lay the groundwork is so believable. And also, Sally Hawkins's performance in this goddamn movie is so good. I don't know, like people are so apt to talk about like Toni Collette and like all of these other horror performances. I just think of Toni Collette and Hereditary is like the first thing that comes to mind. And they're like, why didn't she get nominated for an Academy Award or anything like that? And awards shows in general, you know, grain of salt. But Sally Hawkins not being like, I just don't think her performance was as recognized as it should have been, because like you are terrified of her, but you feel for her, you understand everything that she, like every decision she's made. Like you have so much compassion for her character, even though you don't agree with any of what she's choosing to do.
Speak for
Like-
yourself.
I have compassion for her because I'm just like, I can't imagine, like it is like, it's the horror of like what grief can do to you.
Mhm.
It's like it possesses you.
Yep.
And so it's like Ollie is possessed by this quote unquote angel, but she is possessed by grief, and to the
Yeah.
point where she no longer recognizes herself. And there is a moment at the end where she realizes just how far she has gone.
Mm.
And it is a pivotal moment. Like she makes a decision in that moment that basically redeems her character in a sense.
Totally. That's such a
And,
powerful moment. Is
But
that?
if we,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we didn't have that moment, it would be like a completely different movie.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is there, now that you're speaking about it, I'm just thinking, you know, it's like, is there a more underrated actress working today than Sally Hawkins? Because you think about not just this performance, but it's like, okay, yeah, she did this, and then like she did the Paddington movies, and she was like fucking perfect in those. And you know, the performance that she gives in Shape of Water, which I know is like a polarizing film, but she is tremendous in that film.
She is.
You know, like everything that she does, everything she touches turns to gold.
Agreed.
It's
Yeah.
it's true. There's one of my favorite performances from her. Is like, this is another one that I will show people this all the time if they haven't watched it. There is a BBC limited series called Fingersmith, and it is based off of the book, same name. People are probably more familiar with the iteration that has now come out of The Handmaiden.
Oh yeah.
It's the same source material, but Fingersmith was first, and it was Elaine Cassidy and Sally Hawkins. And they did such a good job in this limited series. And it's also great because it's a limited series. You have multiple episodes. You just have more time.
Right. Yeah. So
So you got like the dramatic turn where you learn all the information. Like it hits a lot harder. You like, it's so good and so well done. Their performances, Elaine and Sally, just like hit it out of the park. I also adore The Handmaiden. There is a conversation to be had about the male gaze, and like it's like kind of lesbians for men. But it is still a beautiful film. But yeah, no, Sally Hawkins has been like, she's been doing so many great things for so long.
Yeah.
So long.
I'm
Yeah.
so appreciative of her.
Yeah.
I know. It made me sad, like, and no shade to Amy Madigan whatsoever, because I think her performance as Gladys in Weapons is amazing as well. But I'm like, if we're going to be talking about that, we should definitely be talking about Sally Hawkins and bring her back, because it's on the same level, in my opinion. And she's terrifying, but she's also like, she is a mom. Like, she could be my mom, but also I'm glad that she's not.
I'm glad she's not your mom, Bella.
Yeah. No. Good. That'd be not good.
That makes me think of, I love really quickly, the Letterboxd review. I can't remember who it is. I'll have to look it up, but they're like, someone do a wellness check on Paddington. Oh, Paddington.
Oh, that's good.
That is one thing that, like, since we were talking about the children in the film, I think, like, for the characters, when you finish this film, you're just like, everyone's gonna need so much therapy. But also in watching it, like to prep for this episode, I was watching the like, you know, like really focusing in on the character of Connor. And I was thinking about that actor and I was just like, how did they like protect his mental health while they were doing this film? Because that's something that my partner, whenever we watch horror films that have children, Ashley gets really and I think it's like rightfully so. Ashley gets really like kind of freaked out because like you can tell sometimes when they cheat stuff. So it's like, oh, the kids were not there for blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like they did this to make sure like, but there's stuff that happens that I'm like watching and I'm just like, this kid had to know what was happening.
Yeah.
And it made me feel a little type of way.
I will say, like, if you're squeamish or you don't like horror movies, don't watch this movie at all. But if you're like also battling hard with grief right now, or frankly, if you're a new parent, or if you have like a visceral, like seeing like child abuse, if you can't handle that, like, do not watch this film.
Yeah.
That's an important content warning.
Like truly, don't go there. Because I personally love hitting kids and love seeing kids eat shit. Like when I'm feeling blue, I go on Instagram and I just watch highlight reels of kids falling and eating shit, and it brings me great joy. But even this film, I was like, God damn.
It's like, give the kids a break.
Yeah, they put them through a lot. Apparently, none of them have seen the movie in full yet, except maybe the oldest, Andy.
Yeah.
Which I think is good on their parents because this is not a movie for kids at all. But just a fun fact, there is another gory scene, so spoiler, where he takes a bite into a wooden table. And it looks so real in such a freaky way.
Like the shards of wood.
And his mouth is like already fucked up at this point. So the way they did it is they created these like dentures so he could like fully take a bite.
Oh wow.
But the table, whatever it was made out of, was laced with chocolate. So off camera, he would just be like munching on it. And he was like, I actually quite liked it. He's like, that was probably my favorite day on set. Which is so great because it's like one of the worst. Like you're just dreading that moment if you've already seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you're like, please get this off my screen. And just what a convincing performance of demonic child eating a table. Never seen that before. So really good stuff. I think that's another aspect of why I love this movie so much is it's like so many like the grief subtrope and stuff like that, or motherhood is horror, whatever, is like done so much. Like that's not new. But the horror elements of this film feel so new and are things that like even in just body horror that I've literally never seen before, which kind of like sets it apart from others because that's always as a horror movie lover, that's an exciting experience to be like, that was new. And
that was fresh.
Yeah. And it hurt and it made me feel things. And I don't know if I want to see it again. Like that's a compliment in this genre.
I also loved the inclusion and importance of the sighted differences, like where it was like this window into a world where like we've seen people with, you know, blindness or partial blindness, you know, in movies and, you know, TV, but sometimes it just feels like a facet of their character that's not necessarily integral to the story. And they made it so important, not just because of like the characteristic that both like Sally Hawkins's daughter and Piper share, but it's also like an inclusion in Piper's world where there are certain events that happen that I'm not going to spoil, but there is a section where Piper kind of has to like be on her own and fend for herself. And the way that they translate, like the way that they film, like they're putting you in the perspective of this person who is navigating the world in like a different way and like trying to figure things out. it just like adds this whole other level of like dramatic irony, and like we as the audience know what's going on, and we are like dreading because we're like, we know, and Piper is like trying to figure it out, and Piper does. And also it's kind of like Piper's senses were betrayed and violated by Sally Hawkins's character for a majority of the film. And so it's like her like taking ownership of those things and like kind of using them as a superpower again.
Yeah.
In like figuring things out. And also I loved the inclusion of the sport that she plays. Like I didn't even know that that was a thing that existed. And I was like, this is amazing. I know it's a very like a minor footnote, but just like the time to give to that in like building out this world was really happy to see that as well.
Yeah.
It's handled beautifully. And it's also like so many films where you have a character with a disability and it's just like, that's who they are. They're that.
Yes.
They treat everything with respect and nuance and brilliance, as you mentioned, Jess, but it's also like, that's not who she is. Like she has an arc and a character that's totally separate from, you know, her disability as well. So wonderful character.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful hero.
It is one of my favorite films of the year.
Yeah,
I think it's in, like,
I can
the
see
top
why.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so impactful.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just we watch so many movies, all 3 of us, that like it is really special to find something that you've watched once in the last year and yet like remember frame by frame of certain moments or like things like that, you know, where it's just like, wow, that really stuck with me. And not even just like the horror elements, like obviously those will stick with you, but even just like specifically Sally Hawkins' performance, like there are tender moments of her just truly grieving where the mask like falls and she's not scary. You just feel for her and you want to hug her. Like those were moments that I still think about.
The final frame of this movie will be forever ingrained in my head.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you liked it. I was like, I can't believe I picked this movie.
I mean, like is a strong word.
I had
appreciate. Yeah.
Yes.
I love horror. I had butterflies like before I was about to watch this movie again. I was like, oh, this. So if you love horror, be warned. This is one of the scarier, more intense, emotionally intense ones as well, as we mentioned. So
I've talked to like big burly guys about like our favorite horror movies of the year, and I like bring her back and they just like go, oh, I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it hits on a completely different level. It's not like, you know, slasher torture porn, and not like, you know, campy, whatever, like none of those different, you know, subgenres. It's like grief.
It's grief and dread.
Body grief and dread. Yeah.
Anyways, it's streaming on HBO Max. Check it out.
Oh, man.
Or as I said, at some point next year or in the coming years, it's going to show up on this fucking Bleak Week. I know it. This movie was made for Bleak Week. So if you see it on the big screen and you've got the Ganas, you got the moxie like Jess and Bella do, go check it out on the big screen. Or go see it with Jess's partner, Ash. She'll be down to watch it not once, but twice.
Ashley and I have seen this like 3 or 4 times.
Oh my God.
You guys are fucked. You guys are so fucked. And
I have the Blu-ray. Like,
my God. Anyways, that's a wrap on this installment of the Gimme 3 podcast. We want to thank Jess McLaughlin for joining us on this wonderful episode. Jess, we love you. If you guys enjoy this show and you want to get a hold of us, if you want to tell us what your favorite films of 2025 were, there's a couple ways to get a hold of us. You can message us on Instagram at Gimme3Podcast. That's GIMME, spell out 3 podcast. Drop us a line there. You can slide into our DMs. We do polls there. You can pick what movies we'll be talking about. You can offer us suggestions, theme ideas, movie ideas, or if you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to us. You can also send us a text message. Do all of those things via text. If you scroll down to our episode description, there's a link that says send us a text message. Click that link and you can drop us a line that's going to go right into our inbox. If you enjoy the show, there's 3 ways to support the show. One is to set our episodes to automatically download. Wherever you listen to our podcast, download our episodes, and it really helps out our algorithm. It helps out our podcast. We also have a Patreon for a mere $5 a month, which is cheaper than pretty much anything these days. You can support the show. It helps keep the microphones on. There's some bonus content on there as well. And then lastly, if you've got friends who are cinephiles, if you got friends who dig movies, share the podcast with them and spread the Gimme 3 love. Jess, do you want to let the lovely folks know where they can find you on social media?
Yes. I do not use TikTok anymore, but every other platform that is like, I don't know, not Blue Sky or anything. Anyway, if it's Instagram, you can find me, the OrigMC, TheOrigMC, and you can follow along for any things that's going on with me or with my production company, AB Normal Films.
Nice. Bella?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Portrait of a Cinephile or on Letterboxd, BF Stratus.
You can find me on Letterboxd, on Instagram, or on Blue Sky at Nicholas Ibarra. Ibarra is spelled with a Y. And we want to thank you all for listening to this Gimme 3 podcast, and we will see you at the movies.